right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A powerful EF3 tornado.
I lost everything.
Leaving a path of destruction.
At the very minimum, $1.6 billion of damage.
But the spirit of St. Louis is not broken.
It was so many people giving us food, people cleaning that don't even live here.
Tonight, the hope emanating across the city in the wake of devastation.
We don't have internet, we don't have phone signal, we don't have anything, but we have each other.
We start tonight at 10 with a weather impact alert. Our next chance of damaging storms comes as storm cleanup efforts continue. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is tracking the severe weather moving in over the next 36 hours.
Right, that's right, Mike. You know, we don't want to scare anybody, but we just have to warn you again that the ingredients are coming together. Tomorrow afternoon, there's a chance of a severe cell popping up, but it is really in the evening and the overnight where those storms become more numerous. And all hazards are possible. It doesn't look like at all what the setup that happened the other day, but there is at risk of seeing even a tornado or two. So just be ready again and make sure your cell phones are charged up. And also you have those alerts turned on just in case we get some more warnings here on Monday night. All right, right now you can see some showers and storms to the west around Kansas City. Likely that first batch will come through in the morning hours and then likely break apart. There may be some areas of hail. We're not expecting tornadoes or high wind with these, but there'll be a first batch of rain in the morning. Probably a really nice afternoon, but the problem with that is with the sunshine and the instability, we'll see a shower or storm pop up even at 5:30, but watch what happens as we get into the evening hours. Here's that warm front, and there's that level 3 out of 5 in our western counties, level 2 out of 5 in St. Louis, but there it is, that futurecast really getting active as we get into tomorrow night. So it's the overnight nocturnal storms that's the issue. Much more on this coming up in a bit.
Tonight, a race against the clock for storm victims as more storms approach. This as a curfew remains in place in the disaster zones. As more storms are expected, city leaders warning people must have a plan in place. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live outside City Hall. Laura.
Mike, people have been working non-stop to get debris to the curbs and save as many of their belongings as they can before these storms roll in.
Gail Davis was in her bedroom watching the news when the storms came through Friday afternoon.
And I looked and I seen all this debris mixing, and I said, oh, we really in it.
She saw the tornado come down her street and ran to the basement.
Everything was like, just popping glass, and I was so scared.
The tornado opened up the roof over the very bedroom she was just sitting in.
And I came upstairs and I couldn't get out the house. And so, because everything was covered, the front door, I couldn't get out the house. And so the police was running up and down the street, so they came and rescued me.
Her sister, Anquinette Thurkill, says she's so thankful for the St. Louis police officers who saved her sister.
Got out their cars, ran in full gear, got my sister, this whole thing was on her, got her out. Hollered on the bullhorn. Anybody trapped, they ran up and down the street. They took the wood that was in the middle of the street, broke it in half, and got 2 old ladies out of their houses.
That debris is still all over the streets, and people like Jeff Bailey, owner of Econotree, have been working nonstop on a volunteer basis to help people like Gail, a grandma to one of his friends.
I was helping them just shovel, shingles and bricks and stuff off the sidewalk because the water can build up.
As far as trees around the city, Bailey is concerned the additional storms could wreak more havoc.
So I'll tell people, look up, like wherever you're at, look up. If you see a piece of a tree that is not still attached to its own original tree, don't stand under it, don't put anything under it, don't park under it because it will still fall.
For those with roofs missing like Gail, Mayor Kara Spencer says they've had truckloads of tarps delivered to city donation sites.
We're asking you, instead of just trying to tarp the building, pull your belongings to the center, use the tarps to try to protect your belongings.
The St. Louis Fire Department finished searching all of the affected buildings and says the area is still very dangerous.
If you have a neighbor that you think is in a house that is questionable, try and convince them to move in with you while the weather is coming.
It is very important to charge your phones, as Jim and the fire chief just said. Actually, the fire department just had a public charging station delivered to House 26 tonight, so it should be available tomorrow before these storms come. That is at Margaret and Taylor Avenues, so anyone can come there to use this charging station, and they're actually getting more of those charging stations to other firehouses in the disaster zone, and they hope to have some of the more of those in place tomorrow. They'll let everyone know when they are. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a massive collaboration to get water, food, and essential items to people right away, many of whom have lost everything. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is live at the Urban League St. Louis headquarters with their response, as well as other efforts from the community. Brent?
Well, Mike, if we come together, we come out on top. That's the message from multiple people I've spoken with all day long who tell me in order for us to get through this storm, we have to remember we're all neighbors here.
Here at Wells and Kings Highway.
Coming together as a community, give.
A grassroots effort to get storm survivors what they need. No questions asked.
For people to come pick it up, take it, and go.
A local business donating food as people drop off clothes for storm survivors.
Why are y'all doing this?
Because we need to learn how to give back and come together in a time of need.
Outside of the Urban League headquarters, further down the road.
If we were down on our luck, we would hope somebody would do us the same way.
A similar effort from Guido's Mississippi Barbecue. Hot dogs and smiles that come at no cost.
Shaving gel, razors, mouthwash, deodorant.
The Urban League, now a major hub for the city to dispatch resources right away.
Donations generally go from being dropped off and they're in someone's kitchen within 15 to 17 hours.
Crews spent the day delivering food to families, many who have lost electricity. More than 250 families helped Saturday and Sunday. That's only the beginning.
We're in golf carts now, going from block to block to block.
Sunday, the bullet-related injury clinic sharing with us their efforts.
We have a charging station at Fountain Park. People need phones charged, batteries charged. We got solar power and batteries set up.
Multiple efforts working in sync to help St. Louis weather the storm.
This is a once in a generation, or maybe once every other generation catastrophe.
Now, the Urban League tells me it is trying to put a stop to some misinformation out there that FEMA is supposedly set to be here tomorrow. Although the mayor says she is working to get help from FEMA to St. Louis, the Urban League says there are no plans just yet. But we're going to stay on top of this for you and keep you posted. We are live in St. Louis. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a Fountain Park business owner is sharing her emotional story of survival and determination. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan is live tonight from the rubble of a strip mall where that woman barely made it out alive. Megan.
Mike, I'm standing in front of what used to be Heaven Sent Banquet Hall for 9 years. The owner was inside setting up for a wedding when the tornado hit. Now she's lost her business and her home, but not her faith. It was supposed to be a day of celebration. Instead, Torlisa Nash says she lived through a nightmare.
I ran into my office, and as I pushed the door closed, it slammed back and trapped me in between the door and the walls.
This is what's left of her business, Heaven Sent Banquet Hall.
I built this from the ground up.
Nash had just finished setting up for a wedding when the tornado ripped through the strip mall on Albert Avenue in Fountain Park.
There were no warnings. There were no, nothing saying take shelter. The ceilings just flew open on the inside, and you see all these walls just crashing around, and I'm just holding on to the door with all my strength.
Trapped inside what used to be her office, she was rescued by neighbors almost an hour later.
Well, I thought I was gone. I mean, my life literally flashed before my eyes. This is what I'm left with.
Chairs now embedded in the walls. Chandeliers hang from the rafters.
Although I thought I was trapped, I was protected and I was shielded because I still have my life.
An hour later, more than 100 guests, including children, would have been inside.
Instead of them celebrating a wedding, they could very well be planning funerals.
And the storm didn't stop there. Nash's home on Penrose Street in the O'Fallon neighborhood was also damaged. Roof torn, windows shattered, trees down.
I'm just trying to move through this process and help the people that was entrusted me for their special moments.
Although she lost so much, the name of her business, Heaven Sent, still rings true.
God truly sent his angels from heaven on this day to help us, and I'm still here. I mean, I lost all of this, but I was able to walk out with my life.
She survived the storm only to watch people loot what little she and neighboring businesses had left. She called police later that night after strangers showed up with trucks and bags, not to help, but to take. Despite losing everything, she's staying focused on finding a way to rebuild. Live in St. Louis, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Tonight, St. Louis Public Schools warning families to expect travel delays tomorrow. One of the bus vendors will be down for days because of storm damage. Superintendent Millicent Borachade says some of the other transportation vendors have also been affected. There's also storm damage and power outages at nearly a dozen schools. Those affected students will be rerouted to other buildings. The Clayton School District is closing all schools tomorrow due to extensive storm damage. Sports teams will still hold practices, but at different sites. No word yet when the schools could reopen. Tonight, Metro Transit says its Blue Line trains between the Brentwood I-64 and Forest Park to Bolivar stations will not run. Officials say it's because of storm damage to its overhead power system. Blue Line buses will take people between the stations. They're asking people to add an extra 30 minutes to their commutes. Just hours ago, the American Red Cross opened a new shelter for those impacted by the storm. That shelter is at the Refresh Community Church on Hanley Road in University City. There is still room at their other shelters, the Friendly Temple Outreach Center and the 12th and Park Rec Center. Grace United Methodist Church is full.
She would usually be reporting on the tornado.
Pieces of the ceiling obviously are in our living room.
Tonight, 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay shares the destruction hitting home.
After a weekend of storm cleanup, a weather impact alert issued for Monday and Tuesday with more storm chances. I'll track out the latest timing on those storms.
As you've seen, thousands across our region are dealing with tornado damage, and that includes one of our 5 on your side journalists. Tonight, Travis Cummings shares the tornado story of our own Mercedes McKay. Her apartment hit hard. She's now working through the significant damage.
Typically on a weekend morning, Mercedes McKay and I would be bringing you your news from the desk. But on this particular weekend, I'm in the field telling you the story while she becomes the story.
On the other side of this door is not home, but heartbreak.
Pieces of the ceiling obviously are in our living room.
An EF3 tornado tore through the Central West End, right through the top floor apartment Mercedes shares with her roommate. The destruction is intimate and unnerving.
I think the most alarming thing for me still is like the pieces of brick that are just like in our house now. 'Cause that's so scary. Like that literal piece of just huge cinder block.
Stepping over scattered fragments of her life, her bedroom door off the hinges.
So that window blew open, and then when we originally walked in, like my mattress was like flipped this way.
The day before the tornado, Mercedes was out of town.
I was home celebrating my mom's birthday. So I was in Houston from Wednesday night to Friday afternoon.
As a veteran TV reporter, Mercedes has covered natural disasters in multiple cities.
What I'm seeing, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before, but when you walk in and it's your living room and it's where you had so many memories, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Now she's telling her story not as a journalist, but as a survivor.
I know that it's a service to our viewers to tell my story because hopefully it resonates with people that are going through what I'm going through.
and a reminder to care for those who might not have the safety nets that she does.
I really hope people reach out to those people that aren't going to be fine, that don't have people to care for them, that don't have people to help them out, that don't have a job like I do.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
After postponing its annual May Day parade today, Annie Malone switched from celebration to service. The group provided free food, household products, toiletries, and more to families in need at its crisis center. Officials postponed the parade to free up more first responders to help with storm relief. Annie Malone says it will announce a rescheduled date for the May Day parade when the city is, quote, ready to truly celebrate. All right, meteorologist Jim Castillo rejoins us now with that weather impact forecast, and the big concern tonight is the next storm.
Yeah, and we're watching tomorrow night. So these could be nocturnal and very strong during the evening and the overnight hours. And all hazards are possible. But hopefully we will not see a repeat. We're not expecting a repeat of what happened on Friday. But wanted to show you the path of this 23-mile tornado here. And again, a mile wide at one point or close to it. From Clayton all the way through Granite City and then SIUE and Edwardsville there. So we had damage all in these areas, but then let's zoom in a little bit more. Again, this was zipping to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So when you see the yellows and oranges on here, that orange there is at EF3 damage with winds of 152 miles an hour. Again, EF3, a very strong tornado. And then it did go right through the northwestern portion of Forest Park and some of those mansions along Lindell, and then right up into North City. We'll zoom in a little bit more there where the worst damage was. This is where the tornado was about a mile wide. So power outages, we're still seeing 22,000 plus without power in the city, but it is improving. They're doing a great job of getting all of the infrastructure back together here. And St. Louis County, 8,000 plus without power. Jefferson County, about 1,000 plus without power. And Madison County, Illinois, down to about 400 without power. So severe weather threat, it's there on Monday. Chance in the afternoon, better chance in the evening into the overnight hours. All hazards are possible. So again, charge those phones up and just be ready to act as these storms come together. Level 3 out of 5, so our western counties, let's say Herman to Rolla, there's a higher risk of seeing those storms. And again, they'll likely move into the metro, especially in the evening hours and during the overnight. Right now, a few shower storms to the west. We're not expecting these to be severe as they move in tomorrow, but we'll watch that warm front and that rain pushing in for the morning hours. Again, not expecting severe storms, but maybe rumbles of thunder and some downpours. And then a really nice day. The problem with that is we get that daytime heating, highs near 80, and you get those storms popping up along that warm front in the afternoon, and that storm fuel gets going. So here's 10:30 at night. Look what happens. Boom, the entire area has a really good shot of seeing some numerous storms in here, thunder, lightning, heavy rain at times, and that risk of severe weather. And then even on Tuesday, real quickly here, we have a risk of seeing maybe a late morning afternoon storm here, and then we'll finally be done for a while. Here's that 7-day forecast. Again, weather impact alerts for Monday into Tuesday, watching really Monday night and also early on Tuesday afternoon. Highs about 80, and then we're cooler on Wednesday, Mike, about 68. We're drying out, 65 Thursday, and nice and calm for the weekend, but a chance of rain by Monday.
Yeah, we do need a break. Jim, thanks. Police find 4 people dead in a South City apartment. The latest in the search for answers in that deadly shooting. We are following breaking news just into our newsroom. Police in O'Fallon, Illinois, on the scene of a stabbing. This happened at the Goshen Trailhead parking lot on Kyle Road. That's right across the street from Fulton Junior High School. No word on the extent of the injuries yet. We do have a crew on the way to the scene, and we'll keep you up to date overnight on KSDK.com. Tonight, 4 St. Charles City police officers are on paid administrative leave after shooting and killing an armed man overnight. According to police, the 21-year-old Fenton man sped away from a traffic stop near 5th Street and First Capitol. About 15 minutes later, the suspect's car was involved in a crash at the intersection of 5th Street and Ameristar Boulevard. Officers found him nearby and shot him. They say he was armed with a handgun. He died at the scene. Developing tonight, police investigating a deadly crash in North St. Louis County. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says one person is dead after 3 cars collided on Shepley Drive and Bellefontaine Road. 3 others were taken to the hospital. No word yet on the severity of their injuries. Right now, a man is behind bars after shooting 3 police officers in Fairview Heights. They were shot while responding to reports of a suspicious person last night on Potomac Street. One of the officers was hit in the face. That person remains in critical condition tonight. Another was shot in the arm and treated for a broken bone. The third was shot in the back and protected by a bulletproof vest. Charges have yet to be filed. Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating a quadruple homicide. Multiple bodies were found this morning inside an apartment in the Carondelet neighborhood. 5 on your side's Annie Krall heard from police on what may have led to this violence.
It was in an apartment building, the 800 block of Shermer Street, where officers found 4 people dead. A 911 call for aid getting responded to at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday by the fire department.
They called and the fire department was here. As soon as they saw what happened, they were identified the scene. They know not to compromise it because they saw what type of scene it was, called us immediately, and we were here as well.
Police say they found the bodies of 2 men and 2 women, all shot to death. St. Louis Metro Police Chief Robert Tracy saying multiple guns and suspected drugs were inside the apartment.
You know what? Usually when you're mixing narcotics with firearms, sometimes the outcomes happen.
Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Again, it's unclear when these shootings happened. None of the victims have been identified yet. We're told, though, they range in age from 30 to 50. Trapped by debris, the community member supplying a lifeline of support to a North City couple. People on Penrose Street came to the rescue of one of their neighbors. An elderly couple was trapped inside their house after the tornado knocked a tree down and blocked their front door. They hadn't eaten in a day, so when neighbors found them, they set up a grill outside the house and started passing meals under the tree.
She said the problem is that you didn't know I was in here, had nobody checked on me. And it broke me down, so that's when I just started checking on all the older people. We need somebody to come out here and take care of them. They can't go to the places where we can go.
They still need help. The city was able to clear the back door for them today, but the husband apparently can only use the front door because of his walker. And Jim has one final check of this weather. Jim?
Yeah, Mike, so the next couple of days, we definitely have weather impact alerts. So we're watching the timing on the next set of storms that we're concerned about would be Monday evening and Monday night, and then also early Tuesday afternoon. And then we'll have a nice week ahead, but we'll watch the storms the next couple of days.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next.